Let's get this started. Welcome to the MangoSweat live stream debut. I'm Xavier. Um, what's up? So yeah, live from Ghana. Shit. Great. Yeah. So yeah, I'm Xavier. Call me Zavi, or X. I live out here in Ghana. I'm a coder, programmer, entrepreneur, and I'm trying to get into this live streaming, game. It's something quite new, but hell, I'm trying it out. What the hell? So yeah, just a little bit about my backstory. I moved to Ghana here in 2021, so I've been here for 4 years. It'll be going on my 5th year. I moved out here with my wife and my 3 children. My wife and I recently are separated. We're going through a divorce, so a bit about this live stream is like me rebuilding myself as a single individual in real time, and I figured I'd do it out here in public. They have a term called like build in public. I'm like rebuilding in public, so that's what this is all about. So I have a brand called MangoSweat. I got that name from when I first came to Ghana. It was so hot. All you do is sweat all day. Now I've gotten used to it, but on the flip side of that, what I loved so much about moving here was that there's just plentiful mangoes, especially during mango season. Mangoes are everywhere, and I love mangoes. That's one of the best things about moving to Ghana is the food is plentiful. So yeah, on this live stream, what I intend to show everyone, or at least put out there for public consumption, is me rebuilding myself as a man and as a single man in real time, kind of healing and processing and all of the above. And you start from ground zero again. I was married for I am still married, but we'll see how long that is the case. But I got married in 2018, and we started dating we started our relationship in 2014. We have 3 children. My son, actually, today is my son's birthday. Shout out to Zavi. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be with him today, so it's part of the whole going through a divorce thing is all of a sudden you're not really able to be present on special days like today. So it sucks, and what can you say? But yeah, it's my son's 7th birthday today. I have an older son who's 9 years old, and I have a daughter who's 5, and I love them very dearly. They really are special to me, and through this time, I hope to rebuild myself better as a man. Just so I can be better for them, at the very least. So yeah. So I'm building my online brand, MangoSweat. Also, I have a self-accountability platform called the Mangrove which I'm building in real time as well. That'll probably be a lot of my streams will be doing that. I have a lot of it built, but I need to really complete it, get it launched. Uh, yeah, so and then I'll just be kind of, you know, cruising around the internet and commenting on the things I see. I live in some sense, and mind you, I'm in Ghana, so you know I experience power outages very regularly. So this drops out on you. It's just part of the environment and power outages. So yeah, I'm trying to share my life as an American living in Ghana. Also, what that experience is like. I run tours out here for anybody that's visiting Ghana or wants to visit Ghana and wants to have, you know, like someone by their side that will allow them to move freely, um, out here in Ghana, and allow them to avoid all the many pitfalls that um, foreigners face when they come in and visit Ghana. I can help you move around. I've been to literally every tourist spot 2 or 3 times by now, and spots that you wouldn't even know are there. I have like 5 years of experience of living, so just to put that out there. And yeah, I'll be building my touring website on these lives as well. So yeah, and my main thing is just kind of use this as a therapy session for other guys that are, in a similar situation. I'm actually shooting in my friend Freddie's studio computer room. I'm sleeping on his couch right now. So this is a true period of transition, and I'm just putting out there for people to see, my story, and share with you guys all the ups and downs and the in between of it all. So yeah, I was inspired to do this from watching Kai Cenat's Streamer University a few weeks ago. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking to me actually, because you see me, I'm messing with my hair. This is what I do when I get nervous. But yeah, all those streamers who are really into streaming, like 20 years old, and I'm like 38, so I feel like an old person, a really old person, just in a young man's game. But whatever. I do have to warn you, if this stream cuts out, it's raining really heavily. It's rainy season in Ghana, so as I said before, I'm liable to cut out because the power tends to go out quite regularly in Ghana. That's kind of something that you get used to when you live out here. The power outages, they just become a part of normal, regular life. So yeah. And what else? So yeah, I'm actually also trying to figure out, this whole streaming setup. Um, it's new for me, so yeah, I will get better with time. But I actually tried to stream yesterday, and I left my my intro stream up my intro scene that you saw at the side of this. I just left that up the whole time, and I was talking, but Mike wasn't even picking up. So this is actually the second stream, but hey, you live and you learn. So yeah, like I said, building, so about my accountability partner platform, I call it the Mangrove. I'm trying to keep it in line with my MangoSweat brand. So yeah, it's switch. Yeah, wholesaler. Yeah, thanks for going from that. This is the mangrove right here, and then you also that thinking, find camaraderie, looking to rebuild this, just rebuild a foundation and kind of get your groove back. Think of it for anybody who's like who's familiar with Dragon Ball Z, like if you remember in the Cell Saga, uh, when they were fighting Cell for the first time, they jumped in the hyperbolic chamber. So like one day was like a year, and they came out, and that's how Goku and Gohan they got to Super Saiyan 2 from training in that for a whole year. This is kind of like that, and it's a Web3 based platform. So essentially, how it work, it's we have a cryptocurrency called Mongos. That's the currency for the program, and essentially it's just a platform where you're able to keep hold yourself accountable towards reaching your goal. You basically declare what you're trying to achieve. Like I'm into fitness, as you can see, I'm over here thirst trapping it up on my X account. Um, but for most people that go through like a breakup or divorce, one of the first things that everybody will tell you is like just start working out again. Usually that's the first way to kind of get yourself out of a rut and back in the flow of just being you. And so I know that's harder for a lot of men than it seems. It's easier said than done. Even for myself, like I'm a skinny person. I'm I have more like the opposite goals of most men. Like instead of slimming down, I'm trying to bulk up. Like um, I'm like 145 pounds. I'm like 6 feet, 145 pounds, and so I'm pretty scrawny or pretty slender. And that's always been a thing in my life is being a slender individual, not very imposing physically, and I truthfully hate it. And so my one of my main goals, as outlandish as it may seem, is I want to be like 190, 200 pounds. I would love that, and that's a hard thing for me. And I know a lot of men, a lot of people, especially from the States, have the almost inverse goal. They need to lose weight or they want to lose weight. And so my the Mangrove platform is basically allows you to declare a goal. Uh, you have AI will generate a roadmap for you to reach that goal in a set, desired amount of time. And then essentially what the platform will do is ask you how much would, if you could achieve that goal right this second, how much would that be worth to you? And whatever that value is, whatever you deem that value to be, we ask that you pledge that or stake that value towards showing up and achieving that goal. And um, what will happen is that you'll basically, whatever, say it's like $100, you're like, all right, for $100, I'll bet on myself. You'll stake that $100 and you'll receive back $100 worth of Mongos, but you won't get to use it. It'll be staked on the blockchain, and then every milestone or every session that you show up to achieve your goal, you'll get a portion of your $100 back. So it's kind of a self-accountability program. The platform will also include a AI journal, allow you to really, just talk out, every step of the way, how you're feeling, what you're feeling on the road to achieving your goal. AI journaling has been really helpful for me, especially during this time and separating from my wife. It's ironic. I gotta say, it's been helpful. I don't know if it's been informative, but just to get your thoughts out and sort through them, I've seen the benefit of it. So that's something I plan to incorporate onto the platform. The other the other caveat of the platform, and the way that this holds you accountable, is that if, say, you don't achieve your milestones that your AI generated roadmap has set for you, whatever you would have been able to unstake for that particular milestone, that value either gets burned or gets applied to the mangrove itself. And so basically everybody else who did show up for their goal and reach their milestone, that value gets applied toward them in a distributed way. So for those who did, it allows you to be rewarded for being consistent by taking the value from those who weren't consistent and applying it to you. I hope that I plan to make that more clear as I'm building, but I hope this whole process is about building in public and working out these kinks and clarifying the value proposition of all of this. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I'll make it make sense more clear over time. But yeah, so this is my X account. I started this way back ago, and I plan to build my platform from here, all from zero. Everything is for free. I don't got a lot of money right now, but I plan to change that as time goes on. So let's see. Like I said, I'm a coder, so I do everything from command line. I know them. For those who are programming inclined, I guess, that's what I like to use. That's my IDE. So yeah. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, to be honest with you. This is my first. Again, this is my first live stream, and I'm just trying to get used to even being the idea of me being on the internet and being videotaped or video recorded, and providing value. I guess I can first start with some of the inspiration behind, or the philosophy behind the mangrove and behind MangoSweat. The main thing is let me go give you like a few, like maybe in like October, November of last year. That's when my wife and I were really starting to, you know, it was becoming apparent that we were separating. I mean, it started a little before that, but it kind of came to a head around October, November. And I remember having a conversation with her. And mind you, that we've been in a marriage for 7 years at this point, in a relationship for almost 10, 11. And I remember having a conversation throughout our time. You know, we moved here in 2021, a year or so after the pandemic. And even before that, one of the major problems in our relationship was just our financial stability. You know, that's one of the things that I have to admit, and I hate to admit it, but that was really a real big problem for us. We were never financially stable. We always had a lot of hustle. I'm a programmer and entrepreneur. She's a graphic designer, virtual assistant, also now trying to on her own entrepreneurship journey. So things weren't always stable, and we had kids back to back to back. So each of our kids is roughly like 2 years apart. So we never really had a reprieve where both of us was working, or it was always, you know, one of us was working or both of us wasn't working, and we're just trying to hustle to make it. And then on top of that, she's pregnant, or we have a newborn, or, you know, it was a lot. And quite frankly, if I'm being honest with you, the simple fact that we've even made it to a 7-year marriage, I don't even know how we made it that far, under all the duress and stress that we went through. But, you know, we did. Even now, now we're not necessarily really talking, but this is relatively a new phase in our relationship. Even earlier this year, we were still quite, cordial, and we still had quite a rapport. So it's one of those things that, it's just stress and fatigue on a relationship, financial stresses, and then, just being in a new country, adjusting to that. A lot of things it takes its toll over time. But I remember a particular conversation we had last year where, and this was probably one of the rawest things she told me, where it was like she was telling me, like, we're discussing, like, we're about to separate, and of course I don't necessarily want it to happen. I'm kind of pushing back against it, in this conversation. But I remember her telling me at a certain point, she was like, at this point, this is not even about a financial issue. It's not even about the money. This is about just us as people. And more so, I guess, me as a person, my not personality, but shit. It felt like an indictment against my personality, my character. But who we've been. Just having the opportunity to be a different person. We've, along with financial stresses, comes fights and disagreements and arguments, and we had quite a few of those over our marriage. And so, but I remember in this particular situation, or in this particular conversation, she was like, even if you made money right now, I probably wouldn't even feel differently. You know, this is at this point it's beyond the financial stresses that we've been going on, and it's just, you know, wanting to grow and experience a certain level of freedom. All of this, I say to you with some calm and acceptance, but certainly back then I was not calm or accepting of anything she was saying. I thought it was bullshit. I still hold that, but you know, I've grown a little bit in this time. The one thing about, you know, separation is that, and you don't really, you know, it's hard to really understand it when you're separating, when you're not even, you haven't separated yet, but you know it's coming. Is that there's a beauty in regaining your freedom. The last time I was a single man, just only responsible to my own body and my own self, I was I was 26 years old. That was almost 12 years ago. It was 12 years ago. And in that between that time, I've always either had, you know, had a wife, a child, multiple children that I'm responsible for, or trying to make sure that they're fed, paid, make sure that we're got a house over our heads, clothes and food to eat, make sure everybody's, you know, you know, has everything they need. Like I met my wife when she was in college. I was out of college. We have a 6-year age gap. Um, but yeah, she wasn't, when we were pregnant with our first child, she was still a sophomore in college. So uh, even throughout our time, you know, we got married. She was still in college. Like, no, literally just graduated. Like 3 weeks after she graduated from college, we got married. So it's not like it's been a while since I've had the freedom of just, you know, being worried about myself. Obviously, I still worry about them every day, but you know, she's at a point in her life where she's able to watch her children, take care of them, um, to a degree where everybody has food, you know, people are safe, they're in their house, they're in school, you know, they have their own rhythm and schedule. So it still doesn't ever sit right with you, but that's one of the things that I'm learning to appreciate during this time is just regaining my freedom, and getting to pay attention to myself a little bit more. You know, just being able to be a man again, you know, be your own man, to, you know, just be able to move around and care about the things that you care about, and not always putting someone else in before your own needs. And so that's been a silver lining, I guess, in all of this. And yeah, I'm really appreciative of it. I'm learning to accept it a lot more. Um, you know, to lean into it. Certainly during this time, I haven't really spoken to my children in about since March, and that's been intentional. You know, it's been a difficult thing for me to talk with them over a screen. Certainly, I don't plan to keep that up for too much longer, but I thought it was important for me to really focus in on myself during this time. And I'm a product of a broken home myself, and I remember being a kid talking to your dad on a phone and not seeing him for a while, and it's just not where I am at this moment to have that same relationship with my children. Certainly, I've been up until March. I've been with my children every day of their life. So, I've really just taken this time for myself to recalibrate and figure out what life has just in store for me, and really build, on where I'm going, what my path looks like. So, you know, I don't know how long this period of time will be, but I'm hoping that at the end of this time, I have a lot of things to bring back to them, and I'm looking forward to it. And one of those things I'm hoping to be is really financially stable. Uh, that's what really this whole my MangoSweat brand and the mangrove are really about. Um, is really finally, having a win in terms of entrepreneurship, and building something that I can be proud of and that is positive and brings value to other people. And so, yeah. Um, so let's see, what else am I doing? What else am I talking about? Um, yeah, let's go back over here to. Um, so yeah, let's see. So some of the inspirations for the mangrove, right? So lately, um, so I went on that monologue to say, like, in that conversation, you know, and what I've seen from talking with other men going through the same, sort of situation in their life is that you kind of lose your aura, your mojo, um, your groove, uh, after a time in a marriage and a relationship. And that's what I'm hoping to regain for myself. Even if I don't regain my marriage, which I'm still back and forth on if that's even a thing that I want. Um, but it's even worse when, losing your wife and your family. That's one thing. But what I see from a lot of men is that they ended up losing themselves. And they often are struggling to find out who they are and regain themselves after they lose, the wife and the kids. And a lot of them are trying to hold on to the wife and the kids just not to have to deal with the fact that they don't have themselves. And I find that to be probably the biggest symptom or, cause of the depression, is that, it's easy to face or to ignore what you've lost in your own self-identity when you have a wife and children to keep you occupied and, keep you distracted from, losing the man that you were. And oftentimes, and I've went through all of these, everything that I'm saying, I've gone through myself. Every day I'm working through it. But that's the other thing, is that on the other side of the separation, you definitely remember a time where you were the guy, or you were that guy. Like, you got the girl, I had the wife. Like, you try to remember, like, I know at some point, now my wife, she hates me or she can't stand me, she wants something different. But I remember a time where I was the man. Like, I was it. Everything I couldn't miss. And I think that's the hardest thing for men to deal with is that they remember when they were that guy, and they're dealing with, trying to regain that guy, and time has gone by, they're a little older, you know, they're not the same guy anymore. And so, you try to even, when I contemplate that concept, I even try to figure out what that is. Now on the internet, you have terms like aura and Riz. Like these young guys, uh, the younger generation has terms for these things that a lot of men, even those not going through divorce or married or they're just single, they're just trying to learn that for themselves. And lately I've been inspired in, kind of what that is, or trying to define or conceptualize it. It's an abstract concept. You know, there's a lot of conversation on the internet, especially on YouTube, about gender roles and how to talk to women or what women want, or being an alpha male, you know, being a feminine woman. And, at first, those conversations were entertaining, even somewhat informative. I will say, like, I appreciated some of the red pill content I've come across. I think it's largely beneficial for men, but over time, I realized that it's gotten a little uh, toxic. So, uh, you know, I'm trying to find other ways to uh, conceptualize these, or to illustrate these concepts um, in ways that, will, inspire men to or at least help men along their path to rediscovering themselves. So one of the guys that I really found, and this has nothing to do with red pill content at all. It's just actually it's fitness content. But this guy, Anatoly, right? I'm sure many of you have seen his videos, right? Like he's just like he's actual elite professional powerlifter. So he has like ego. He like walks on the gym as like a janitor, and he'll like dudes are lifting, and he'll lift it like effortlessly. Like in the video you see it's like he'll like he doesn't know what he's doing. Guys who are big buff will laugh at him, and he'll just go on and he'll just get up and just lift. And I don't know how I ran across the video myself, but as I watch more and more of these videos, I can see like you know this is kind of what like this is kind of like in an abstract sense what I think going through, especially marriages, like you go through a marriage for so long and you got to you've been waiting for it, you've been in a relationship for so long, and really you've been getting buff, but you know you're not really strong. You come to find out in your relationship that you don't have the power like you thought you did. Your muscles are big, and it's like difference between female being strong, believing you're strong, and just so is like this is what true looks like, feels like. Actually, most he can lift this weight. He knows this weight is he got it. And I tried to see like who is that? Like, why? How is he able to do it? And he doesn't look super old. He's clearly stronger than who are clearly bigger than. And I think it's just I came across this proprioception where he lifting for so long because we look out and he's but he about a little differently where these guys really they're more socializing in this moment at gym, whereas Holy comes there probably in this moment he probably did work in all the time, and he's adapted his body to truly working and lifting efficient, and probably done times kind of like anybody knows Kobe Bryant. He's an idol of mine, which when you hear about Kobe's work ethic, I'll figure out how he got as skilled and as great as he was, and he didn't even see small skills over again. I just the same thing that's here in these videos, and sometimes just related back to just marriage and relations. Oftentimes seen with guys is that you get so used to through the stresses of your relationship. Like, you were strong, you did get the girl, you did have the riz and the charisma that matter, but over time, you built on that. At least me, that's um, as I work through it all, I think that's what happened is that children speak a little habit, you live past wins, and the drive to truly be strong, to really, uh, you know, really lean into what and you're at a point where you're trying to, you look big, like you look like a guy, but you can't lift the weight anymore like that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, for the mangrove, I'm trying to make it where it can come to rebuild the foundation of them, of their manhood, of their masculinity. Not ego lifting, but we're truly into perform technique, the small things, because this guy is, lifting with proper technique, like practice, perfect. And I'm trying to apply that all of what you see in this video. I want to apply that into every part of mass masculinity, rebuilding your foundation to rediscover who you are, and so you can, go back out there and, you know, whatever it is your goal is, whether it's, you're becoming a new man, or whether you're trying to get your family back, or I don't know. It's a weird abstract relation that I'm trying to make. But yeah, I want to really get back into make the Mangrove a space where you're truly learning, or relearning the skills of and building a foundation where you can apply strength and power in your life. And I'm doing that starting with the body. I think for most men, women talk about healing. When you go on Instagram, women will tell you about healing this, and well, there's a lot of chick crack out there. I've heard, and trust me, my wife, I've heard it all: healing and your truths, and I've heard it all. It's crazy. I truly don't believe women actually heal from anything, especially I hear a lot of uh, groupthink and validation, social validation, but I don't actually, even with my own wife, I don't see her healing. I just see her going on to the next thing. And that's actually one of the probably most frustrating things about, I think, for men, is that you get told all the things you've done wrong, or where you messed up at, and what you need to do right. And a lot of men will hear that and try to fix it. You're like, really try to fix it. And then on the other end, all the gripes that the man has had in their relationship, that gets totally disregarded. We obviously always talk about how women don't like accountability, and that's not something I'm even want to talk about on these streams, but that's a common gripe. And so I don't really think women truly heal from anything. I think that for them, I don't know what goes on for women. I just know they talk about healing and living their truth and whatnot, but it seems like a whole bunch of it just tends to seem like just I don't know, ignorance, and I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, for the Mangrove, I want it to be a place for masculine healing and masculine rebuilding, um, rebuilding your foundation, and rebuilding strength and power in yourself, in your spirit, in your body, and regaining that feeling. In this will I'm planning to cover topics like proprioception. I actually have a lot of these written down. Yeah, finding flow state. Um, yeah, my shit is not working. I got a lot of things going on here at once. Let me close some of this stuff. Now my and in public, so I'm hoping to make a community where true actual healing and rebuilding happens. accountability partner platform. I hate to try to position myself as an accountability coach because certainly this is for me as well. Like this is, I haven't figured out anything special to be able to look down on another man and tell them what they need to do to get better in their life. I'm still looking to do some of the things that, um, I'm trying to be held accountable. I'm looking for people that are, at the same stage in life and the same desire to evolve out of their situation. And so I try not to position myself as a coach at all because I'm not. I'm really just another brother out here trying to find their pathway. And I'm hoping to provide a space in which people that are looking to evolve can find camaraderie and brotherhood, and encourage others and help others to reach the same goal, or reach whatever goal that is for them, whatever it is that is for them. Um, so yeah, so I guess this is my first stream. I'm hoping. I hope it wasn't too boring, but apparently I've already been live for like 54 minutes, which is surprising. That's quick. So yeah. So this is MangoSweat live stream number 1. I plan to live stream almost every day. I'm also provide like my own workout videos. As I said before, I'm not like a trainer or anything. I'm not trying to teach anybody how to go about training. I'm just putting it out there for everybody to see me do it and provide encouragement and accountability. I'm also building in public, so this is the place where I'm doing it. And trust me, this is already, just being on live has been nerve-wracking for me. Like, this is not something that I'm not the live streaming individual, but maybe that's something that I'm trying to evolve into. So this is all step number 1 in my own holding myself accountable and putting myself out there and living, as the ladies say, living my truth. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. There'll be more from that. I plan to do reaction videos, if that's a thing. And I don't know. We'll see what we get into. It's a lot. The internet is a crazy place. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. If you found any value or you found any of this relatable, please follow. Check me out. MangoSweat, MangoXSweat. I'm on all the platforms. I'm on Instagram. I got a Substack newsletter. Yeah, you can find me here. Boom. Check this out. I got my YouTube channel.